Nobody can say that I am, free. I am very superior devotee, that I will never come under Maya. Anybody can. Even Narada Muni himself, he wanted to see what is Maya, and Krishna put him in Maya, and he became so much involved in that. He really identified himself with that particular situation and all the lamentation and everything. And we know Shiva and Brahma are also not free completely from Maya. So Maya is a very, very tricky. That is why Krishna says, Daivihi Esha Gunamai. My Maya Shakti is Daivi. It's divine. So you cannot. Mama Maya Duratyaya. You cannot overcome her on your own strength. Not at all. But that's where these yogis, tapasvis, they try to control their mind and senses and try to free themselves from Maya, but they keep on falling. Mameva prapadyate Maya metam tarantite. The only way in which we can easily cross, simply take shelter of me. That's all. So here they, because Chitraketu was a nice devotee of Krishna in his heart, they knew that he was actually very advanced. And that's why they went first when he was very much desirous of aborting a child. So much he married so many queens, he kept on one after the other. He thought the problem was with the ladies. Whatever it is, it was a divine intervention. He was not getting children at all. And he was lamenting so much. So what is expected for an advanced devotee? You pray to the Lord and then leave it to him. But he was very insistent. And so that is why the two sages went there to, advise him. But then they saw that how desperate he was for a child. And so they thought, okay, we'll give you. But then Harsha Shoka, he will also cause misery for you. And the king, he didn't know all these things, what's going to happen. And he thought maybe he will be a little spoiled and he may not be very Krishna conscious, something like that. So he might be a source of, unhappiness, but at least I will have a child. So this is, just for a few years, we desire some sense gratification so much without bothering about consequences. That is the nature of the mind. Out of ignorance, we think that temporary happiness is everything. Even, he was living in the which yuga, maybe Treta or Satya Yuga, when they have such long lives, but even that goes off in a flash. Material, the time factor is comes to an end, whether it's long or short, it comes to an end. And that within that short period, we think that we cannot live without certain things. And that is the ignorance. And so Narada Muni and no, and first time only Angira came, and he gave him this vow, and then he went away, and the fruit for his queen to take and all that. So then we know what happened. All the other queens became jealous and they poisoned. So this is the nature of this material world. It is not something special which happened only to Chitraketu's life. That is the big catch in the material world. You want to be happy, you want to be successful, and you think everyone will respect you, and you'll get a lot of, appreciation in society, and then or in among your relatives, family, and especially in Kali Yuga, just the opposite happens. Your success is the source of envy for them, and they try to put you down or say all nasty critical comments, or now try to criticize. Or nowadays, of course, people, so much evil has spread in the last few decades. Every country has got access to this black magic which they happily exercise. So there is so much suffering in this material world, and you think that I can enjoy. That is a, even though others are suffering, somehow I will enjoy. This is the foolishness and the ignorance. Instead of thinking for such a short period, it just flies like anything. Why must I, force myself unnecessarily to live up to this, some kind of hmm, false promise of happiness? And for that, I have to fully absorb my mind in that. forget about Krishna, and waste my time, and then all the time either lamenting or some short period of happiness and again lamenting. So this is something which leaves us when we are in Maya. We don't think like that. We think, no, no, no. See how Maya is so tricky just for some short years. Even if someone is very old and in the verge of any time he might die, still he is thinking of some enjoyment. Oh, I hope my grandchildren, I want to see their marriage. And I hope, my son gets this big thing or of whatever, or my grandsons, whatever it is, something they're thinking about, some temporary things. Which are, I mean, once you die, what does it matter? You're going go somewhere. And instead of focusing on that, on Krishna, and elevating their consciousness, this is what Maya does to make it seem as if everything is very nice over here and you can enjoy. If only you get this and that, and then you can be very happy. So, because he also had devotion to Krishna, Angira Muni had come and given him, and then he knew what's going to happen. So he waited, and then again at the time of lamentation, very deep lamentation, the king was unconscious, he and the queen is so much affected by the loss of their son because they thought that that son is going to get me all happiness. And so when that went, what's the use of living? They were feeling so desperate. And then Angira Rishi thought that this is the time I have to go and, put some sense into his head. Because at that point, when we are suffering, we're ready to accept spiritual instructions. Before, when he was still hopeful of material enjoyment, he was not ready for spiritual instruction. So he didn't tell him anything. He said, okay, take this fruit. But when he got the chance, when there are reverses in life, that's when we are ready to listen to alternate things, alternate lifestyle to our own now, which we think, mode of passion, things that I have to have this, that, only that is fun and very filled with very, nice enjoyment and happiness. And anything else, we think, oh, so boring, and we look down on all other kind of people who are living very simple spiritual lives. Normally materialistic people think how boring, how horrible, they're very unfortunate. That's what they think. And so this now he is preaching to him, and he is ready for that. He said that he very humbly he submits, because your great personalities, you can give me real knowledge. I'm as foolish as a village animal, like a pig or a dog, because I'm merged in the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, please ignite the torch of knowledge to save me. So this tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So when we approach a spiritual authority in all humility and ask them, I'm really like a pig or a dog. He puts himself in such a this thing, and I'm in ignorance. So kindly illuminate me. This is the ideal mood in which you get the mercy of Guru and Krishna. And so Krishna is sent, imagine, exalted. This time even Narada Muni came to deliver him, the direct son of Lord Brahma. So such powerful rishis, then definitely he is going to be out of it. And so he's also explaining, see, you are an advanced devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has done devotional service in his previous lives. So that is why, even though in this life he has not yet started, that devotion is there. Krishna says, whatever, even, what is that? Neha Bikramanasosti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate bhayato mahan. Even a little advancement on this path can protect us from great, suffering. So, even, he had done something in the previous life and that was intact. Even though because of his other karmas, it was not manifesting. But the rishis knew that. And that is why they're telling him in a very nice way. See, you should not. They understood. They didn't immediately criticize him and chastise him and all that because they understood, they empathized. They empathized with his pain, but at the same time, they said that this kind of lamentation for you doesn't augur well for a person like you. Therefore, we have both come to relieve you from this false lamentation, which is due to your being merged in the darkness of ignorance. For those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge, to be affected by material loss and gain is not at all desirable. So, how nicely they put it. I mean, they say the truth, but in a very nice way, which you can accept. You know, actually, even Brahmaji felt very compassionate towards Indra. Indra, because he had done some offense, I don't know which offense it was. And he got cursed by Rishi. May you be descend and be born. You're just like a pig, become a pig. And so and in the pig's body, Indra is so elevated. He is the representative of Vishnu, taking care of the administrative duties of the entire universe. And such an exalted personality. And even Krishna says in the Uddhav Gita that among demigods, I'm Indra. So when as a Indra, Indra is a post. As he was as an Indra, he was so elevated. But then he made a mistake. He's not a pure devotee. And then he fell down. And imagine Maya can catch even such great personalities. And he completely forgot what he was in his previous life. And he really believed he was the pig. And he was just, rolling in dirt and eating stool and enjoying it and getting married to piglets, having a lot of pig family and being so attached to them. And Brahma was thinking, my God, this is how a liberated soul, when he sees somebody completely in Maya and trying to enjoy. See, in a pig's body also there is happiness of this material pleasures, whatever. He was just thinking, very nice. Ah, I'm getting nice food to eat. And then I can just be lazily going around. And then he felt very bad, just like Chitraketu and Narada Muni were taking compassion on Chitraketu. He came, and after he came, what he made his pig wife and children die. Then that made it is just Maya. There is no, oh, did he do, why did he do like that? Some people may ask, why did he put him in sorrow? And so on. But actually, it is all Maya. And it's all managed by Krishna very perfectly. Everybody gets, even though these sort of things happen, but actually everyone gets according to their karma only. So then Indra, as a pig, was lamenting and rolling and crying. Then Brahma became even more compassionate. Oh, Indra, what you're doing? So he took water from his kamandalu and sprinkled on the pig. And then he came, then Indra came out of the pig's body. And he thought, my God, what? I was in this body? So that is what happens. These great sages or devotees who go around in order to wake up people from their slumber, from their ignorance, are doing it out of deep compassion. You are an elevated spiritual being, and why you're unnecessarily identifying with your material body, temporary material body. And what is our goal? Some very, very temporary things which absorb our mind. And then in that happiness and suffering, we lose ourselves and we forget the higher truth, the higher reality. What is our actual goal, which is eternal? This is we don't even know how many years we are going to live here, and then to be completely absorbed in those things. And for a self-realized soul, they feel deep compassion. That's what made Prabhupada travel in his old age alone. Old age is not easy too, and then he had heart attacks and all that, and no facility at all. Alone, he was just managing everything because he was committed. He thought that I must save the people. And especially he went to America, he thought, my God, how much deep in Maya these people are. What are they going to understand what I'm going to speak? And he only prayed to Krishna, you only make me speak whatever. You must be having a purpose, whom to deliver and all that. So you make me speak whatever you want. So much compassion. And in fact, one Satsvarupa Das Goswami, he writes in one of his memories, he has written so many books, no? In one of those, he mentions about how when he was visiting Prabhupada in the beginning, as a, he was not a hippie. He was coming from I mean, he had not, he was working as a, what do you call that, social worker. And he was being paid for that. And he was giving the money also to Prabhupada and all that. And he was, because of his involvement with Krishna consciousness, his parents didn't like it at all. And slowly, they were getting distant. There was a distance creeping in. And I think when he took initiation or something, some major step in his life, and the parents just threw him out of the house, get out. And he was very affected. And he went and cried to Krishna, to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, my father said like this, and he threw me out, and he was crying. And he mentions how Prabhupada had a quiet smile in his face, and he was looking at him very compassionately. So he knew that, he was removing this Maya from the eyes where we, get so um, disturbed by so many, and Kali Yuga, so many. I mean, all the time we're just trying to keep ourselves away from some, some difficulty or some kind of disturbance. All the time that is considered happiness. Okay, I've got my insurance policy. I will, this thing, that's the only thing. Otherwise, where is their actual happiness? And so, this, I mean, spiritual people, if Prabhupada himself in his life, he actually, according to his horoscope, he was to do very well in his business. But suddenly, for no apparent reason, it started doing badly. It happens. Everything is determined by Krishna. And he was wondering because he was taking care of his family, not out of some, personal ambition or personal gratification, but he was just doing because that is his service to Krishna. That was his duty. So, and being very humble, he thought, should follow my Varnashram duties perfectly. And he really was absorbed. He did all his things, whatever was required for his family. He did his, put his full effort in the job and so on. And then, because of this, it was so difficult to maintain them. Very, very, I mean, that become to very poor state that his wife had to sell his manuscripts in order to buy tea and biscuits just for a little paisa you get. Those days they didn't pay so much for all this, paper and all that. Whatever she got was just to buy biscuits and tea. Can you imagine what state they were in? And so he was discussing with his god brother, and the god brother said, this is all Krishna's anugraha on you. In the Bhagavatam also it says that how whoever Krishna has got a great blessing or uh, you know uh, uh, mercy, then what he does, he takes away his material attachments so that he can completely surrender to Krishna. That's what is happening in your life. And Prabhupada accepted it. And gradually, that's what it led to his taking sannyas and completely giving his life for preaching. So we see that this is saintly people can see something beyond our vision is very narrow for ourselves. Because for we might preach to other people. No, you should not be attached. Why you're so attached? You leave this, leave that. We can preach very nicely, but when we come to ourselves, our own lives, we might have some blind spots to which we are very, very attached, and we can't see our own mistake, our own, some blockage of which is preventing us from progressing. And that's when we need a more advanced devotee to see us objectively. Everybody needs someone objective to see. Prabhupada also was consulting his god brother and saying, I don't know why all this is happening. And he said, no, this is why Krishna, he could see it more objectively. And Prabhupada accepted it. So that is That's why we need devotee association. And here also in the purport is saying a devotee should always aspire to engage in the service of advanced devotees. Because advanced devotees will give us real knowledge, the ability to see things as they are. And by serving them, we also make spiritual progress. So we should aspire to live in the association of advanced devotees and engage in the service of the Lord through the Parampara system. One should serve the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the instructions of great Goswamis of Vrindavana. This is called Tandera Charana Sevi. So, following the instructions and doing spreading the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also service to Guru, to all the advanced acharyas, devotees and acharyas. Because what do they require? They don't want anything. They want that we make spiritual progress and further their mission. And a devotee should not aspire for material profit or lament for material loss. So that is why Angiri Rishi and Narada saw that Maharaja Chitraketu, an advanced devotee, had fallen in the darkness of ignorance and was lamenting for the material body of his son. By their causeless mercy, they came to advise him so that he could be saved from this ignorance. And from there, he became such an exalted devotee because they gave him, we will see how they asked him to worship Sankarshana, Lord Sankarshana. And within a very short time, he got his darshan also because he was already an advanced devotee. So he just followed their instructions and he worshipped, and very quickly he saw them, and then he became so exalted. He was like a demigod going everywhere. And then he made a small aparad kind of thing, and then he was born as an asura, vritrasura, and all that. But he was very, very exalted, and in his next life he went back to Godhead. So that is what happens when we are very sincere, and then Krishna is completely taking care. But we should Brahmanya, the supreme personality of Godhead, is sometimes addressed by the prayer Namo Brahmanya Devaya, which offers obeisances unto the Lord because he is served by the devotees. Brahmanya Devaya is the Deva for the Brahmins. Therefore, this verse states, Brahmanyo Bhagavat Bhakto Navasaditum Arhasi. This is the symptom of an advanced devotee. Brahmabhuta Prasannatma. For a devotee, an advanced self-realized soul, there is no cause for material jubilation or lamentation. He is always transcendental to conditioned life. And that happens only because of thinking about Krishna always in the mood of being a servant to give him pleasure. Then other things will not matter so much at all, in fact, because it is just the perception. It's all in the mind. How we enjoy this material world is also through the mind. Mind thinks if I have this, oh, I'll be so happy. And then when we get it, we just rejoice and think I'm the happiest person. Where is all that enjoyment happening? In the mind. The senses are simply instruments. I mean, the senses come in touch with the object of senses, but the real enjoyer, material enjoyer is the mind. And so, if the mind is trained to think about Krishna, then you get a superior happiness because Krishna is transcendental. Mind also becomes transcendental and not being affected by the ups and downs of material life. And this is the purpose of life. All the different, whatever events are taking place in our life is simply to come to this point of understanding that actually I don't even have to run after all these happinesses because I'm always happy. I am the part and parcel of Krishna, and my relationship is one of being a dependent on Him to enjoy through Him, not without Him. In the material world, we try to leave Krishna. We don't want Krishna in all our enjoyment. That's why we suffer, but we include Krishna. I cannot live without Krishna, and wherever all enjoyment is with Him only, in the mood of a servant. So then there is always happiness. And when Krishna is with us, definitely whatever happens is for our good fortune. It is not for falling down or suffering, not at all. Even there is temporary suffering, it's only for our purification, and Krishna will elevate us so that we are always happy in his company. That's what happened to Chitraketu. I mean, from where he was, what kind of lamentation, deep, deep. He was just like an ordinary person, very attached to having a child and so many queens and all these things. But then, so Prabhupada said, no, because devotee asked Prabhupada, how long does it take, Prabhupada, to come out of Maya and become a pure devotee? Prabhupada was so compassionate. He just looked very compassionately because he could empathize how much suffering there is, and that too for a pure devotee who is always in bliss. To see other people suffering out of ignorance must be very painful. And so he looked very compassionately and he said, one moment, you're not reading my books? Huh? What? If the minute you understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I am a servant, that's all. Then you're liberated. If you accept that my happiness lies on only being a servant of Krishna, not an independent enjoyer. There is happiness in serving Krishna. We enjoy with Krishna or through Krishna. Krishna becomes happy, then we also become happy. Krishna arranges things and we become very happy. It's arranged by Krishna. So I really like. When you love someone, whatever they send, you think it's wonderful, it's nectar. So, in the same way, Krishna, whatever arrangement Krishna does, the devotee doesn't even question, do I like it or not? It is sent by Krishna, it's perfect, it's so wonderful, he's blissful. He doesn't sit and judge Krishna because he has complete faith that whatever Krishna does is wonderful because he is my best well wishing friend. So, three things we need to understand also in the second chapter says, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. All my work, who's the enjoyer? Whatever I'm working for, who's the real enjoyer? Krishna. If I understand that I'm not the enjoyer, because we just cannot enjoy this material world like with our gross senses. Suppose Krishna gives us, unlimited desires, and you've come to me, ask me whatever you want. Write all your desires, and I will fulfill them. Then what will we do? We'll start writing and writing and writing, and we'll never stop. Oh, maybe I missed out that, maybe I missed out this. And then after it's all fulfilled, then you'll think, oh, it's all over. Again, I wish Krishna will fulfill some more desires. So there is no end to that, and there is no satisfaction. But on the other hand, if we just desire to serve Krishna and satisfy him, whatever it is, whatever arrangement he has made in this life, I'll do very best and I will satisfy Krishna. Then people may think, materialists will think, oh, this is very stagnating. But no, Krishna is not a stagnating person. He is dynamic. And through him, we can do wonderful things. But then we will not be disturbed by anything because we are thinking only of Krishna and what he wants us to do. We are getting all directions from him. And with him, we can enjoy. Because whatever we do, if Krishna enjoys, we also enjoy. You make a nice uh, piece of cooking, okay, something you cooked for Krishna's pleasure. Oh, I hope it's very nice tasting. I hope Krishna enjoys it. And then you give it to him thinking of his enjoyment. And once Krishna is eaten, we also enjoy with Krishna. But I mean, and we can taste the taste of Krishna also in the food. Similarly, whatever Krishna, I really wish I could serve you very nicely. Please help me. And Krishna makes all the arrangements. And when we serve Krishna, we're also part of it. But we don't think that we are the enjoyers. We think it's all for Krishna. So, without even desiring to enjoy, we will enjoy. That is pleasure, right? You're not looking for enjoyment, but enjoyment comes and you take it. But then without forgetting Krishna. Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. That's the first thing. He is the enjoyer. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He is the owner of everything. So I don't need to worry. I just please and satisfy Krishna. Whatever I require, he can supply. He's unlimited. And Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suhridam. Also have faith in him because Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the well-wishing friend of everyone. So he should also be my well-wishing friend. He will only want whatever whatever is good for me. So we just completely trust in him. If we know these three things, Gyatva Shantim Richati, then we can be very, very peaceful and surrender to Krishna and keep praying to him. Please tell me how I should do. Please, if you keep on praying to Krishna, what should I do? Which is what Arjuna did, right? He was very confused when he was on the superficial level. He was just thinking of all material external things. Oh, then, they will lose their lives and all my dear, dear ones. And then after that, even if I win, what's the use? I cannot enjoy. And so many sins will come to me. And it's all superficial, connected with the body. Nothing to do with his relationship with Krishna, the way he was lamenting in the beginning. And everything was just external. And so Krishna, he just chastised him. What you're talking? You're you're an Aryan and you're talking like a Anaryam, Jushtam, Akirtikaram. The way you're talking, it'll only give you infamy. You're using my friendship to, just do whatever you like, and you'll bring all infamy for yourself and for me. So uh, uh, then Krishna started advising him that, the body, your Atma, and that was the very first instruction he gave. And then he started telling how you should work. Once we know we're not the body, we're the soul, and that we got to do all work in a way to satisfy the Paramatma in our heart, that is when we really act with intelligence. Krishna consciousness is called Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi comes from the supreme Buddhiman, Krishna. And we have to inquire from him. Arjuna inquired, Oh Krishna, Shishyasti sam sadimam prapannam. I'm your disciple, now surrendered unto you. Please instruct me what I should do. That is the intelligence. And then after that, he didn't have to lament at all. Krishna was there with him. He was just in bliss, doing whatever he wanted. And he didn't lament. And whatever success came at the end, of course, success did come because Krishna is always successful. So by surrendering to him, we will be successful. But in between, there were also reverses on the Pandavas' side, but it didn't affect them so much because Krishna was there with them. Whatever Krishna said, they would do, and then they relaxed. They didn't even bother in the night. They were happily sleeping because next day you have to get up. They wanted to refresh them. Krishna would wake them up. Hey, why you're sleeping? Do you know what Duryodhana is planning? Arjuna said, Krishna, you are there now. You please take care. I'm very tired. Went to sleep. So much trust in Krishna. Suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva shantim richati. So we have to have complete faith that Krishna is very, very close to me. He says, I am seated in everyone's heart is the Paramatma. And from me comes knowledge, forgetfulness, and remembrance. So close as the Paramatma. So that is why chanting helps to connect with the Paramatma, that is inner directed. And by working on our inner development, then we can handle external things very easily, very nicely. Bhagavad Gita is not retirement. Rather, you make your inner um, consciousness very strong that you can face anything externally without getting disturbed, and with full intelligence to the best of your ability. You can do without stress, without tension, without anxiety. That is when you can really enjoy life, right? Not when you're always disturbed by things. Not disturbed because the mind is taken shelter of Krishna. We need him in all activities. I know people say, I'm so busy, I've got work and I have this work. How can you do the work without Krishna? On the other hand, we connect ourselves with Krishna Then Krishna helps as a Paramatma, even our material work. He gives ideas, he makes our work shorter. Maybe he will send somebody to help you. He does all these things for his devotees. So it doesn't make sense in saying, I'm so busy that I can't worship Krishna. If we worship Krishna, our work will become easier. So you finish far. I mean, others may be breaking their heads because they have to work by themselves. They depend on their mind, in their own limited intelligence, with their mind going berserk, pulling them in different directions without proper motivations, sometimes inspired, sometimes not, sometimes angry, all these things. But a devotee, because of his Krishna consciousness, he is not affected by anything. He just does his duty. Okay, I have to do, I'll do that to the best of my ability, thinking of Krishna, and just he will take care. He's my best well wishing friend. Whatever Krishna you do is okay, fine with me. So he relaxes. No anxiety, no tension. For others, Krishna is an imaginary figure. Where is that Krishna? As if he will take care of your material work, as if he can help you in that. He's spiritual. He's in the temple. He is not in the office. They might say that, but no, devotee knows. Krishna is in every atom. Krishna is in our hearts. And that knowledge will help us to do work faster, more efficiently, more intelligently, and without being affected by the results, by being very calm. And results will come because Krishna is there. He knows what to do, and he's always our well wishing friend. So that is why this waking up is very, very important. And we must pray, pray to the Lord every day while we are chanting. One thing is, two things when we are chanting. We must, for the mind, we listen very attentively so that mind gets controlled. Mind has to be controlled. Without controlling the mind, we cannot, no yoga will work. Even bhakti yoga. Sometimes devotees think, my heart, I love Krishna. So what if the mind wanders? Anyway, I love Krishna. No. If we want to become pure devotees or satisfy Krishna with our work, mind has to be also controlled because we have to do service with the mind. Just like we enjoy also through the mind, service also has to be done with the mind fully involved in Krishna. Then only he'll accept. Suppose you go, I mean, you're talking to, if you know, some close person also, he's not at all paying any attention to what you're saying, but physically he's there and nodding his head and telling, okay, okay, something. Will you be happy? No, you'll think, see, what is this? He's not at all attentive. So everything is there in the mind. So we have to control the mind so that even in our work, we'll become very efficient if the mind is controlled. In all our relationships, also, mind is controlled, no need of unnecessary, you know, wrong thinking. Most of the time, we just misunderstand and some nonsense we do, which breaks relationships. So the mind is under control, everything is wonderful. And the heart also, mind is controlled, but then the heart doesn't progress in loving Krishna. That is also, we can fall down. So we have to, for the heart, we put our head on this lotus feet and say, Krishna, please give me full bhakti for you so that I don't get attracted by all this Maya. So the heart is at the Krishna's lotus feet and the ears are for the holy name. And then we can understand Bhagavad Gita or live according to the Bhagavad Gita. Everything we do, we think about Krishna and we don't get disturbed by the results. Okay, Krishna, whatever you say. It comes through practice, right? Krishna says how to control the mind. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyam uchyate. So we have to become detached from sense gratification, thinking everything is for me. No, everything is for Krishna. And where is Krishna? He's within the heart. And so we have to become more inner directed and we have to give time for that. Not everything very busy, busy. Even chanting is, oh, I'm driving and I will talk. What you're thinking of during driving? You're looking at the cars and trying to steady your car and then honking and all these things. And then where is simply mouth is mechanically chanting, but the mind is elsewhere. So that's why this is the most prudent thing to do. We want to be successful even in our material life. Without giving attentive chanting to Krishna, how can we even do our work well? Because our mind is just wandering. But if we invest in this time to chant, that's the best investment because it will bring all kinds of returns. Efficiency in our work and good heart, if it has all dirty thoughts of wanting to overlord, dominate, and control and find fault and all these sort of things, that will all be gone and our heart will become cleansed of all these. We're not originally like that. So we don't have to accept it. Oh, this is how I was born. What can I do? I get angry. So when I get angry, I lose myself. I can't help it. I'm born like that. No, you may be born like that in this life, but you're not eternally like that. And you jolly well have got a duty to cleanse that dirt. And you can by chanting, surrendering, doing services, being humble. Then, to Krishna and surrendering to Him. Then automatically all the dirty things will leave us. Whatever may be some pollution which is there in our heart will all be wiped out so that we can become happy. Naturally, when we are free from all those anarthas, we'll become so joyful, thinking of the present, thinking of Krishna and the connection of everything with Him, not at all being afraid of anything. Well, any problem comes, okay, we have the referral point directly, Krishna or devotee, Guru, Vaishnavas, and Krishna. It doesn't mean that only we'll be talking with the Paramatma. By Paramatma's mercy, we get the association of devotees, association of Guru, and Krishna only arranges. He makes our life very beautiful, have very nice understanding, relationships, and he only sends the people at the right time so that we can consult them also. So, but first we have to surrender to Krishna only by His mercy. Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Latsta Beach. So, Krishna's mercy is what gives us a Guru. And then Guru trains us so that we can get Krishna. So the both are non-different. Guru comes because of Krishna, and we listen to Krishna, Guru's instructions. Krishna is very pleased. Yasya prasadan bhagavat prasadu. So everything is because of him only. And by taking shelter of him and being aware of him and understand that what a great boon it is to be allowed to chant the holy names, which can give us the highest perfection without any effort. We don't even have, those days, what was tapasya? Tulsi Maharani's, we just had Tulsi Vivaha. So you must have heard about how she did the tapasya in Himalayas. She sat with all heat, fire all around her in the summer months. And in the winter months, she sat in freezing cold surrounding her. You have to do all these sort of things to show that I don't, I'm only, even in midst of all that, she was meditating. We don't need to prove any such things because Krishna knows we are incapable of such things in this age. So he's made it so simple. Simply sit wherever you are, chant. You can walk also and chant, sit and chant, and you don't even have to have your bath and all that if you're, initially like you're lazy to take a bath, no problem. Get up and chant. Somehow chant. Wherever you are, chant. And then we become more regulated because of chanting, because we are associating with Krishna. What a wonderful association we are getting easily, freely. Huh? And when we are chanting the names of Krishna and hearing, we are really associating with Krishna. It's not an imagination. Krishna and his name are non-different. So just by hearing his holy names, we are ridding ourselves of all the dirt and dust and uh, all our anarthas are going off. And we have to try for that. We have to. So that's why Prabhupada said, one moment, if you realize this, then you will really work like a servant of Krishna, then everything will be fine. We have to give more importance to realizing Krishna within our heart. It's not enough simply I do. Yeah, I went and mopped, I cleaned, I cut vegetables, I did so much seva, I went book distribution, everything. Of course, book distribution is an inner life activity. If you're not connected with Krishna, you will not sell one book also, unless you're just an assistant for book distributors. I drove the van, or I brought things, I moved things around, and that's seva, okay, you can do. But unless your mind is controlled, you cannot do such superior sevas. Um, so mind has to come under control, then only we can even do sevas properly. And only that way we can progress and get the complete shelter and mercy of the Lord. So even while we are doing work, we have to think about Krishna. So that's why we are chanting. I mean, you play the mantras or the lectures, always trying to think about doing everything in a service mode for Krishna. If it's just wildly thinking, so many things you may think of while doing service, that will be like karma. Okay, you might get some material benefit sometimes, but you will not make spiritual progress. That's why chanting is so important. Some people will say, no, I'll do service. You give me whatever service, but don't ask me to chant. And we may think, oh, he's so advanced. Imagine without chanting only he's doing service. Maybe, but where is his consciousness? For that, we definitely need to chant so that we work also. We are doing karma yoga through which we can enter into bhakti yoga, do all the work for Krishna's satisfaction. And finally, complete surrender. Krishna, whatever you tell me, I'm ready to do. That is when we'll be experiencing bliss all the time. Whatever, a pure devotee never does even anything which the Paramatma does not sanction. So he is in bliss. He's not attached, oh, Krishna doesn't want me to do, but I want to do. That is conditioned souls. So many things we keep on disobeying Guru and Krishna because our minds and senses are pulling us. No, no, please, I need it. But when we chant nicely and we develop a relationship with Krishna, then we don't listen to the mind. Prabhupada said, ignore the mind. Simply chant, ignore. The mind will sell so many things, especially when you're chanting. So ignore it and only hear the holy name because that is Krishna himself. Such a simple thing he has given, Krishna. So then Prabhupada said, you did not read Bhagavad Gita? You do like this and you will become a pure devotee. You can surrender to Krishna completely, taking full shelter of him. Krishna, you know me, what I am. Please help me to progress. And that's how we make progress. Okay, Hari Krishna. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanat Pranam. All gracious to Prabhupada. It was such a nice class. Reflected upon the surrender and the inner journey rather than the external journey, and the how the different people in different consciousness. Yes, control of the mind. People in different consciousness do the devotional service at different levels. It was so nice. Even I was, and he nicely said, which struck me very nicely, is about that the devotees are actually the ones who are enjoying life. They say that you do. I mean, you become a CEO and something and enjoy life. It is not so actually. It is nice to as a good preaching tool also. If you have to really enjoy life, you have to be Krishna conscious. Then only you will be blissful. Then you know that that Krishna says. Nasti buddhi ayuktasya nacha ayuktasya bhavana nacha bhavata shanti asantasya kutasya kama. If somebody is not yukta, when is connected with Krishna, he will not have he will always be in anxiety, and he will not be peaceful. He will not be without peace. There cannot be happiness. So it is so nice reminder that devotees are in such a nice situation, always actually enjoying life with Krishna in this life, of course, and beyond. So and in terms of your comment about different types of seva being performed at different level of consciousness, yeah, we see that karma mishtas in the initial stage also they will serve, and then the advanced stage also they will serve, but the different levels of consciousness, even the same sweeping, somebody is doing at a karma as a karma yoga. I mean, not as a karma yoga, as a seva to show off that I am doing something. At the same time, that at the very top level, the top of the ladder of the yoga, the bhakti yoga and the niskam karma yoga merges, doesn't it? Don't they? Yeah. So niskam karma yoga.
From sakama karma yoga, we have to move to nishkam.
Yes, niskam. Yeah. So Nishkam Karma Yoga, that somebody who is sweeping, he may be in Nishkam Karma Yoga, and somebody who is in Sakam Karma Yoga, somebody may not even be in Karma Yoga. He may be doing it to show off, but at least he is doing it for Krishna. So yeah, but the service is essence to without sacrifice there is no purification, and. Yeah, very, very nice. Thank you, Mataji. You touched upon the basic foundations of bhakti and the consciousness, and that keeps the bhakti intact and bhakti progressing. Very nice. Thank you for your kind association and your nectarian words and such a wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Such a wonderful class, Mataji. You explained from the beginning so nicely about King Chitraketu's desire and how Krishna fulfill our desire, but still it is not good for us. But we need to learn from that, and you emphasis on how we should be faith on Krishna with the example of Arjuna, and the chanting, focus on the chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So thank you so much, Mataji. Still we are doing from long time chanting, but mind wanders. So it is again that is we struggle for that, Mataji. But your class was wonderful, yeah.
You're chanting together, right? All devotees.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that's nice. When you chant and you hear the buzzing chanting of other devotees, then it helps us to keep focus on the holy names, isn't it? It's easier to concentrate rather than when you're chanting alone. Then you and your mind only are there, and then it's a tough job.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Thank you for explaining very nicely. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, should we wind up? Srimad Bhagvatam Granth Raj ki jai.
Anybody has any question? Okay. Yeah, let's pray about all the Vaishnavas. Panchakalpataruvasya
The Kripa Sindhu Patikanam Amanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Koti
Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Ramachandra Das Thakur ki
jai.
Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki
jai.
Padmini Mataji
Jai.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.